And I could see a thing where people start realizing that they missed out Hex the first time. Now they get a second opportunity with cheaper fees on Pulsechain, would then kick in that Metcalfe's law effect even to a greater heights, and really bring in more adoption, because it really, I mean, the Ethereum gas fees ruined utility or whatever of Hex in a sense. So yeah, I'm very bullish.
I have a guess, and it's because Richard has said Ethereum became unusable effectively because of gas and the bid to get in front of the next person system, basically ratcheting up price during big launches or high congestion or bull markets or whatever. And the response could have been L2s and all the other things that have been built on top of Bitcoin, Ethereum. But instead, the response was, fork Ethereum and horizontally scale what works. So, like, I can imagine 2 years or whenever it is, as far as the popularity of crypto leading to some other name, whether it's Richard or someone else, basically forking Pulsechain and doing the same thing all over again. Maybe not a sacrifice, maybe different narratives, but if you're going to basically create this perception of value, just like the $500 million or whatever it was that was Hex, that was, sacrifice for freedom and movement and all that other stuff, that was unrealized dollar value. And that unrealized dollar value still fed a marketing narrative that this thing is $1 billion sacrifice or $1 billion project at, before it even launches for 2 years. So I think that the same sort of thing will play out possibly when, $3 seems like it's too expensive, or $10 or $100 on Pulsechain is too expensive to transact, just horizontally scaling the EVM.
I see. That makes sense. That makes sense. So being proactive in the sense of like how Ethereum kind of screwed themselves waiting too long allowed other people such as Richard Hart to capitalize on this opportunity, and he's sees it in the foresight there, and like you said, either passing the baton and having other builders kind of do the same thing, or he even creating another fork or something like that.
Well, hamburgers have been around a long time, and then there were hamburger stores, and some people even decided to open more than one location. But how long has franchising been around? And then once franchising became an idea, how many people replicated the idea of franchising? So to me, this horizontal scaling thing that's been pitched for 2 years and all this other stuff, it's system state that wasn't done before. Everybody getting their duplicates of their code that they built, if they were developers on Ethereum, and they built some other smart contract based things or NFT based things, or they have some marketing spend already to say that monkey pictures are valuable. Why wouldn't you want to horizontally scale the investment you already made into brand awareness or marketing or community? Why wouldn't you want that? So I think that the possibility is 2 years, 3 years, whatever the time frame is, somebody, if it's not Richard, somebody will have gravitas and market appeal and be able to either put together a lot of money from other people and then rug pull them and steal all their money, or do something similar to what we think Richard is doing, which is launch an L1 that has a synergistic kind of approach, even though we'll probably take some of their user base as far as Ethereum goes, and people will migrate and stay over on Pulsechain for a while. But like the idea of it being an ETH killer isn't what we're mostly trying to say. So like I think the same thing, someone's going to come up with a Pulsechain system state fork, or something that basically, if there's a fork in the road and Ethereum goes their path and we go our path, it depends on who is the most engaging, maybe as a founder or as a community, or the most welcoming or the most easy to develop on, or whatever the narratives are that made Ethereum work and hopefully will make Pulsechain work, will invite the 10x population to participate in crypto.
Yeah, I like the idea of market share horizontal instead of killing. That creates unnecessary enemies. You say you're going to kill something instead of rather trying to help and offload something rather.
So I think the same thing probably will happen, especially if Ethereum, continues to have 7 or 8 years of history and enthusiasm, and the code is easier to work on. That kind of narrative about why developers do like it versus other things, and then why haven't these other EVM chains become super popular? Well, maybe it is because we're going to find out. Maybe it is because system state wasn't included. So if this is successful, if liquidity pairing, even Richard, I think maybe in conversation, maybe at a dinner once, if not publicly, he had said that he thought that the Uniswap contracts were on par with Bitcoin, that being able to LP was on par technologically or innovation wise in his mind to Bitcoin. He didn't say that about Ethereum. He said that about the Uniswap LP contract mechanisms of a DEX.
Right, because when it comes down to it, DEXs are, I mean, L1s are super extremely important because everything's got, but the DEX is where people are making the trades, right? So it's like they're almost, you can't have one without the other in a sense, but it's like the DEXs are, I don't want to say more important, but they're vital. That's where everything's happening. That's where the action is. I mean, the process is happening on the blockchain, but where people are actually actively participating is through a DEX. It's kind of both, but people only see the DEX. They don't really acknowledge, the chain. I mean, as mass adoption comes to, more people are going to just be more like, I want it dummy proof, and they're really going to be disconnected with the L1s, and they're really just going to be focusing on swapping and chains and etc. So it's interesting. I feel like it's a lot easier to explain a DEX to someone than it is an L1, just because that they don't really want to understand. But thank you for your thoughts, Gary. I appreciate that.
All good. These are interesting things.
Now we got to also think, well, what's coming on live? Is there bridges or not? Okay, do you want to wait one day and maybe buy Pulse on Ethereum?
I'm gonna DCA.
This is how I think of it, and I think it's way simpler. And I agree with Famous. Don't complicate shit. So basically, Pulse Chain launches. All you have to do literally is connect to that network. It doesn't matter how much ETH you have. It could be $10.
It does
$100,
because it
$50.
Because if you want to bridge,
it'll be so cheap.
Because they at least need a 0.1. They need something
Stop.
the ETH. They need
let bird fly, bro. Hold on.
All I'm saying is my advice is keep it fucking simple. Keep a small amount of ETH, because Pulse Chain is ETH. You're just switching an RPC setting to a faster, cheaper, stronger network. That's it. It's simple.
Okay, so in the past,
think about anything else. Don't think about
$500 worth of ETH, and I'm good.
No, but it's not even just $500. Like realizing about this. Okay, if you really want to go ahead and buy shit, you need the ETH for the bridge. So people are gonna need ETH. You're gonna need for stakes. You're gonna need to swap. You're gonna need to dump. Everyone here, whoever thinking about it, you're gonna need ETH. So just have the ETH in a strategic way where that ETH would then become Pulse Chain. So if you have 0.5 of Pulse, it should be 2-3 transactions. It should.
Just like how you buy ETH or buy Hex on Ethereum, just wait 2 weeks after Pulse Chain launches. Let the ecosystem help you and be your friend. I hear Famous talking about bridging, and no, my friend, no haste, no rush. If anything, put more time into your planning as far as your DCA, your scaling in and out of positions, and your long-term goals. And don't overcomplicate acquiring PLS. Trust me, there are going to be a DEX, Pulsex, and others. There won't be a need to bridge, because other people are going to come in front with large liquidity and say,
they're going to be like, take some PLS.
And it's going to be extremely user-friendly.
Yeah, MEXC is for sure going to provide it, 100%.
And to answer the question, why would anyone buy PLS? Bro, are you serious?
It's a fucking L1. Of course they're going to buy it. They're buying fucking Sue. They're fucking Sui.
I'm going to slay you like fucking cookies, bro. Why would anyone buy PLS? Answer my question.
They don't know. That's the reason why. They don't know.
Oh, sharpen the blade, baby. Sharpen the blade.
They don't. There was 1.2 million tweets about Pulse Chain. What are you talking about? Nobody knows.
There's more than that. I think there's like 5 million people that have no fucking clue. No fucking clue, but they're going to know. They're going to know.
Yeah, they'll know.
But it's nothing now that we can do. We can't do nothing now. We can't even fucking put Richard's fucking balls on his forehead in a meme that is going to make us fucking do it, bro. I'm telling you, we can't. Nothing's going to change people's minds. Even if you slap him in the face with the money, even if they slap him in the face with the money that they fucking could have gotten, they still won't realize until they actually think in their head that they realize they fucked up. You understand? Like it's really fucked up how certain people are, but it's okay because it's gonna happen, because just the amount of people that we are is gonna make it go in a way that
if you want to get Pulse, just DM me. I will happily point out when I think it is a beautiful dip. When I onboard people, I shoot them straight, and it's going to be very simple. And if it's not simple and it's not user friendly,
okay,
a serious problem.
Now, when I'm on Pulse Chain and I'm looking at the Pulsex 2 fields, you have at the top and the bottom. So on the bottom is going to be Pulse because I want to swap into Pulse. What's going to be on the top?
Could be a number of things. Like I said, the ETH and Pulse Chain networks will be independent, but they're going to be pretty well bonded with liquidity just right off the bat with Hex. being on Pulse and Ethereum, and that pool in and of itself, that's unique to no other blockchain. To my recollection, this is completely new territory, new runway. But yeah, everything will be bonded. There'll be probably wrapped ETH pairs with Pulse chain, and just watch and wait, because that's how people make bank.
So I already have a bag of liquid hex, but I really don't want to sell it for more than a year or at the bull market. I'm going to buy another bag of hex that I think that will be my allocation for Pulse. So I'll get copies, and then I'll take the P hex and swap it, all that second bag for Pulse, and that's what I think I'm going to be doing.
Get icosa, man.
Dude, it's literally, bro, go to Etherscan and type icosa and try to find a contract. Why doesn't it show up?
Because you have to put ICSA and it comes out right away.
Well, here's the reason why I don't want to do icosa. It's based on my being a student of Hex is the Way. Hex is the, of course, I'm a student. I'm a student of your famous. Listen to this, bro.
No, that's cap, bro. He's the reason why I do icosa. What do you
mean? He told me. I mean,
you better have a position in icosa then. That's the only reason I want to hear it. Because if you don't, then icosa is going to be insane, bro. You have no clue.
But I don't know why you would want me to have icosa liquid, because basically you're going to swap it from icosa to Pulse.
icosa, there's too low liquidity, bro.
Okay, and then what happens when the liquidity actually becomes something, because it actually turns into something, because people realize that, like, oh shit, it gives out more.
And now I'm not fading icosa. I'm just saying.
You really can't. The SA controls the liquidity. It's going to pump whether we like it or not. It's going to pump.
Buy Pulse and Pulse X on a mad dip, bro. I got it.
Me too. That's what I'm doing.
Bro, if you're buying icosa, you're buying a representation of a T-share that goes up. So icosa gets rarer as the T-share gets rarer.
But T-share goes up slowly, famous. You
think on Pulse chain is going to go up slowly? Okay, but what does the icosa yield give you? Do you realize that? Do you guys realize that?
I understand it.
But it's not even just about understanding crypto. It's about the opportunities. You get the possibility of getting T-shares, and you get a representation of a rarer T-share. So whatever you get now, which is not as rare as you're going to get it in a year from now, because in a year from now, you're only getting as much as how it's rare.
Listen, one of the things kind of game theory is like keeping it spread about multiple wallets, so you keep your day stake, because you transfer your icosa, right? You get your hedron after your icosa, and you get your icosa stake, and the icosa stake is always longer. But you put your hedron in there, and if you have your hedron in just one wallet, then it like pumps up to like 90 days. So if you have it in like multiple wallets, you can keep it down to like 30 days or less, and you're going to earn the same icosa, and you can transfer that icosa and restake it and just keep earning icosa and hedron and taking that hedron and ripping it out.
Does somebody have a good video on that?
Listen to me. The 90-day stakes are giving between 20 to 40% APY. You compound that 90 stakes, you do it 4 times in a year. Okay? Then what you have is you actually have an asset that's giving you 2 things. The opportunity to get your T-shares, and you have the opportunity, which is the icosa yield, which is actually outpacing the hex yield. So if you take the icosa even towards the ratio of how it is to hex, you're still outpacing your hex yield. And you're doing 30 to 90 to 100 days. So like if you're thinking about doing yearly stakes and being able to transfer that value, now on Pulse chain, you have to also understand the T-share rate is going to become much more valuable. So icosa is going to be much more rare. So the icosa you hold currently is not going to be as rare on Ethereum, because the T-share rate is not going as high. But on Pulse chain, it's going to go much higher. So icosa is going to be much rarer on Pulse chain. This is why I'm telling you fucking motherfuckers to do it. It's because you won't get the same on Pulse chain. And it's not going to be the same. And you're going to have an asset that reflects the fucking T-share. And you're going to be able to reflect and get 2 assets that can eventually, because they're also liquid together, you can get more T-shares, because the system is going to use the T-shares, because there will be a system of buying back the T-share and selling it on an open market.
So icosa on Pulse chain is going to be more rare and it's going to increase in value more on Pulse chain than it is on Ethereum. So
no, value. You see that value word? I don't like that. It's bullshit. It's kumbaya. It doesn't exist. Value is fucking pairs and ratio. So whatever ratio it is, that's the value, right? Now the value to someone is whatever you give it. And the thing is that when you think about how does icosa get derived, so when you trade the icosa icosa. When you trade the T-share for the icosa, you get so much. Now, if the T-share rate is higher, you get less icosa. And the T-share rate on Pulsechain will be higher than Ethereum. Therefore, it will be consequentially rarer. Think of the consequences, guys. This is chess. It's like literally fucking chess. It's like if you realize that, like, oh shit, hedron icosa is going to be rarer. Why? Because it's going to take more hex to get it on there. So if people think it's going to be, even though it's cheaper, it just means that it's more undervalued and it's going to get rarer, because even the fucking T-shares with hedron, if the T-shares go up, it means it costs more hex to get a T-share. That means that the B shares, that means that the shares for hedron is more fucking expensive compared to hex, and you guys will be able to make money. You just have to understand.
So Famous, I agree with you. Coming from where Hex Love is trying, whatever he's trying to accomplish is a very, very short-term idea. So what Hexbridge was saying, due to liquidity, when liquidity starts out on Pulsechain, could be kind of similar to ETH-W or ETH-F, in which case icosa liquidity is like non-existent, right? Like you could nuke it with just one cell. So if he's trying to accumulate Pulse and then he gets massive amounts of slippage and he's kind of a noob at swapping, he's going to get mega wrecked doing something like that. So that's why, like what you were saying earlier, sometimes keeping it simple, if you had some hex, most likely hex will have a pair that has enough liquidity that you're going to be able to get in and out without getting totally decimated. That's what I'm saying. Also, the perpetuals, it's the same thing. It's even worse than icosa probably for some of them, except for Maximus. Holding a perpetual, don't expect that thing to be liquid at all.
But the points that you're able to get copied, right? So when you are staking your icosa, those points, that's why the little stakes is going to be worth so much more on. Fuck, I'm giving too much alpha.